You're now listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Straightforward, no nonsense business advice. Completely unfiltered. Grow your business. Grow your life. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
We're excited to kick off our first ever road tour, visiting some of the top shops across the country. Come along as we give you a behind-the-scenes tour of some of the most successful lawn care, landscaping, and hardscaping operations and facilities and see how their businesses operate. This shop tour is brought to you by our great friends at Steel, Equipment Defender, Cujo Yardware, and Yardbook. We know professionals like you trust and rely on the tools and equipment to make your business a success. And our tour partners mean business. Gear up, lock up, lace up, and line up your business for success with our 2022 Shop Tour sponsors. We'll be releasing new podcasts and YouTube videos every Monday for 8 weeks as we take you across the country on this incredible tour. Check out the full video tours on YouTube at Brian's Lawn Maintenance and catch the podcast every Monday. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
All right, guys, we're going to jump into it here in just a quick second, hearing from Alex Nickens with Nickens Lawn and Landscape. Tell you what, man, this was a special treat, and this was just a behemoth of a shop to check out. First off, it was really, really cool just getting to connect with Alex Nickens. Him and I have actually been buddies for, 5, maybe 6 years now because of YouTube and social media. We actually kind of got started on YouTube around the exact same time, and he was doing like landscaping and hardscaping and had this great leaf setup video, and I just remember reaching out to him and becoming buds. And you know what? The rest is history, as they say. First off, want to just say thank you to Alex for opening up his shop, giving us a full tour, 25-minute tour. If you guys have not seen the YouTube playlist and the YouTube videos that we're dropping every Monday over the last couple weeks and for the next couple weeks, we've got 8 shop tours that we're doing. You guys are missing out. You have to come check out Alex Nickens' shop. It's off a major thoroughfare, beautiful sign up front. Beautiful big building. I forget the stats, but 60 by 120, something like that, with fuel tanks on site. Telling you what, he's building the dream for a lot of us, all right? So first off, I want to say a big thank you to Alex Nickens for spending time with us on the podcast and also the shop tour as I was able to visit him and actually got to meet his wife and see their beautiful new home that they're building. The guys just got it going on. Also, really quick, you heard the tour sponsors, Cujo, Equipment Defender, Yardbook, and Steel. We want to say a big shout out and thank you to those guys as well for making the first ever 2022 shop tour happen. All right, so let's jump into it here. This is our interview with Alex Nickens from Nickens Lawn and Landscape. All right, guys, we're sitting here live with Alex Nickens from Nickens Lawn and Landscape. What's going on, brother?
Not a whole lot. Thanks for having me, Brian. Happy to be here.
Absolutely. Well, we were just cutting up before we hit record, and that's what happens when you interview somebody. You start cutting up, having fun, and laughing, and then I'm like, hold on, we got to actually hit record, and because this is the good stuff. Yeah. So I was saying, I'm like, when's the last time you were on the show? And we were thinking it's been 2 years.
2 years.
Wow.
Yeah, I was one of the originals.
Yeah, you were one of the early sacrifices, my first 10 podcasts.
Yeah, I helped you figure it out.
You did.
Where's my cut?
Actually, dude, now that I think about it, I was learning how the mixer worked and something happened with the audio and you only came in on one side. Because some people were like, hey, what's up with his podcast episode? I can only hear it from one side of the headphones. And I had no idea how to work this thing back in the day and I hit something wrong. You probably don't know this.
No.
Yeah, but somebody was like, dude, it's only in one ear. And I'm like, oh, that's just how it works, dude. So hopefully we got you actually in person on stereo this time.
Yeah, both ears.
Yeah, I was like, dude, it's been 2 years. I'm like, well, if you would just return my phone calls, we'd get you back on the show. And you were like, you're actually one of the few people I actually return calls to.
Yep.
So we appreciate you honoring us with your presence on the podcast.
Yeah, cool to have you here. Brian's in Freeburg, Illinois. So for those of you guys that know where that's at, he's a long way from Michigan.
Booming metropolis over here.
Oh yeah, 4,000 people.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Wow. A little bit more rural, a little bit more country.
Oh yeah, big time.
Did you grow up in this area or where you at?
Yep. I grew up right here, went to grade school, high school.
Really?
Yep.
Wow. And so do you guys do a lot of your work here or is there other pockets or towns or cities?
No, we do a lot of our work here.
Is that right?
Yep. And the jobs we're doing now, we're only 3 people. Our company is me, my brother, and one other guy. So we do a lot of our jobs nowadays are 3-4 week jobs. So
sure.
I mean, we're getting to the point where we're only doing a handful of jobs a year. So
wow.
Try to pick up a couple big ones here in town, and then we travel a little bit. All the towns around, like I was saying to you, all the towns around us are 5, 6, 4, 3. There's not many towns around here that have more than 10,000 people.
Wow.
So we try to, and everyone knows everyone, within 6-8 towns around here. So we're all word of mouth. And like I said, we try to pick up a handful of jobs a year, and that's it. Try to stay as close as we can, keep that windshield time down.
I love it. So we're actually here, maybe to back up a quick second, a little bit of context. We're doing our shop tour. That's the best name I came up with for, at Alex. So it's our shop tour.
It hits.
It hits, whatever, send it. So we're doing 8 shop tours. We had Jeremy Connect on. We've had Andy Mulder on. Making your way through with you here in Freeburg, Illinois. And then we have a bunch of other folks coming. So we've been dropping podcasts once a week for the next 8 weeks. And then also the actual YouTube video of the shop tour is on YouTube. We're dropping 1 video a week for the next 8 weeks. So if you guys want to see Alex Nickens' shop, it is a really cool setup and a really fun tour. So I just want to say genuinely thank you for inviting me in, opening up the place, letting us see what you got going on. You're building people's dream, man. This is awesome.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for coming by. Happy to show it off. I always enjoy. I'm a shop nerd, so it's fun to have people come, especially that have never been here, and see what it is, see what we got.
Well, we've all seen it so many times. If you guys follow Alex on Instagram or YouTube, I've seen, that's the thing. Like, it's always funny. Like, I've seen the shop, I've seen the office, but then they'll walk in here. I'm like, dude, is this your camera? This is where you film from? And you're like, yeah, dude, like, what's up? And I'm like, I've watched dozens of videos from you back in the day, on YouTube. I'm like, I know this exact wall and this mural and the flag. Yeah. It's kind of funny, Yeah. So without going too far down the rabbit hole just yet, and just to back up, not to be over familiar with you, but for a lot of folks that are new to the show or maybe haven't followed you on social or seen your content on, YouTube or whatnot, give me the highlight reel. What's your background? How long you been in business? You said you specialize a lot in hardscapes now, but give these guys like the 2 or 3 minute kind of highlight reel.
Yeah. So, 2021 is going to be our 10th year in business.
Hey.
Started out mostly lawn care. Always had, the dream and aspiration to be a hardscaper. My introduction into the green industry was hardscaping. I worked for a company that did major retaining walls, patios, outdoor living, projects, kind of what we're doing now. And I always knew that was my goal, but it's hard to, especially when you're 19 years old, it's hard to just jump in and do that.
Sure.
So I knew what I had to do to get to where I wanted to go. And that was lawn care, smaller projects, build a reputation, and then slowly the bigger jobs are going to come. So now, like I just told you, Brian, we pretty much got out of lawn care completely.
Yeah.
This year, we're still doing a very small amount, but making the jump and going all in. But we started out doing lawn care, smaller jobs, and just been transitioning over that 10 years, basically slowly into the hardscaping company and excavating company that we are today.
Wow. So what do you guys specialize in with hardscaping and the excavation? Is like, are you guys making pads for shops? Are you guys doing retaining walls, like $50,000 patios? Help me out a little bit.
Yeah. So basically high-end residential is what we're doing. More outdoor living type projects. We're doing big retaining walls so people can have a level backyard to be able to build a patio or put in a pool or, just enjoy their space. But high-end residential, major residential jobs is kind of what I would call it. We've done some commercial. We've done stormwater drainage commercial projects, done quite a bit of that. Excuse me. But basically high-end residential retaining walls is what we've kind of found a niche in, just because there's quite a few subdivisions around here that were thrown up kind of improperly and they all require retaining walls.
Okay.
So just kind of found a niche there just because it's needed.
Yeah.
But really what we're trying to do, my goal is to go into someone's backyard that has an old crappy, setup and tear it all out. And I want to build an amazing patio, outdoor kitchen with a pergola, retaining wall off to the side with a fire pit, and, kind of the whole nine. I want to go in with a blank slate or, go in, tear everything out to create a blank slate and build someone's dream pretty much. Is we're trying to build, 30, 40-year projects that people can enjoy, and kind of showstopper projects is really what we're going for.
I love it. What's like a price point on that? What's your typical landscape job or hardscape job like that?
40 to 60,000.
Is that right?
Just depending on what people want. I mean, not every job's that big.
Sure.
But for what I just described and for what we've been doing here lately, that's about where we're falling.
Well, let me ask you this. A lot of guys listening in, lawn care guys for sure, like myself, mow a ton of grass. I love it. But there's a lot of guys too that listen to the show. They do landscaping, hardscaping. And so you're 30 now, right?
Yep, just turned 30 a month ago.
Which, congratulations at 30. And then also, by the way, you had a little baby.
Yep, 6-week-old baby.
What's his name?
His name is Avery.
Avery, 6-week-old boy.
Yep.
That's awesome. So this might be a short podcast because we need to get you back to the house because mom's probably been dealing with her, dealing with him all day.
7 p.m. I've been gone since like 5:30.
Oh, is that right? Yeah, we're gonna get in trouble here. So I'm gonna stop by and just wave and then just keep driving. You know. So you're 30, got a brand new baby, a lot of life going on, man. Talk about the evolution of Nickens Lawn and Landscape, because there's a lot of guys that get in for mowing. How did you know to start pruning your mowing clients, and how did you start getting these larger landscaping jobs, and frankly the equipment too? We're here doing a shop tour. You have some amazing machines. They're a little bit out of my wheelhouse, but maybe let these guys know some of the equipment that you have, because a lot of guys are trying to do what you're doing.
Yeah, so like I said, I worked for a hardscaper before I ever owned my own business. That was like my first real job, was working for a hardscaper. We were building 20-foot tall retaining walls and kind of doing what I just described. We were going in and just creating people's dreams basically in their backyard.
Wow.
So as soon as I got into that, I was like, man, I love this.
You were hooked.
I'm like, this is, and I knew zero about it. Never had mowed with a commercial lawnmower, never had laid a retaining wall block. I knew nothing. I was just like, hey, this is a job. I'm getting $15 an hour. I was like, sign me up. I'm ready to go.
And you were like, what, 16, 17, 18-year-old kid?
I was 18.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So, like I said, had zero knowledge about it. Didn't know what I was getting myself into. Had no idea that was going to be what I want to do for my career. But started doing it, and I loved it instantly. I was hooked. My boss loved me because, like, man, you are so eager. Like why are, do you need money that bad? I'm like, no, this stuff's cool. I'm like, I enjoy what I'm doing. I want to learn.
Yeah.
So, and I planned on working for him for a long time. He's really nice, really cool guy. Small company. There was 5 of us.
Okay.
Him, his brother, and then 3 other guys, and we all got along really well. We kicked butt. We knocked projects out. We had a lot of fun, and he was willing to compensate us. And it was going great.
Was it in this area, by the way?
No, it was about 30 minutes away. So that was the only downside, was I was driving, but I enjoyed it. It gave me, we started at 6 a.m.
Sure.
So I was leaving here at 5:15, 5:30, but it gave me time to wake up, and at that time, the earliest I'd ever woke up was 7:30 for school. So I'm like, man, this is kind of tough. So like I'm chugging Mountain Dew on my way, like trying to wake up, but it was like my introduction into the working world. So it was like, it was really cool for me. I felt like I had a lot of responsibility. Like I said, my boss was cool. So I just really liked it.
Right.
And that was the biggest thing. But about 5 months in, I was on my way to work one morning. It was super foggy, and I actually rear-ended a semi-truck that was basically at a dead stop. He had just turned off on a side road, had a full load of rock in his trailer.
Wow.
And I rear-ended him going about 60.
Whoa.
It was like foggy, like to where you couldn't see your hand in front of your face type fog.
Yeah.
And I was running a little bit late. So doing what I shouldn't have been doing, speeding, and not that I wasn't paying attention, but you just couldn't see. I should have never been going that fast. But that happened, got in a pretty bad accident, broke my femur.
Whoa.
So instantly I'm out of work.
Yep.
I'm laid up. I was in the hospital for 4 or 5 days. I don't even remember. I was in the hospital for a while. And then I was laid up in my house for 6 months. For the first 3 months, I couldn't hardly move. It was so painful. So I'm literally just like, I still have to this day a rod in my leg. I got screws by my knee, and I got screws by my hip. That'll be in there till the day I die.
Wow.
So, and be with me in my grave.
Yeah.
So that, it tore me up pretty good. But in that time that I was laid up, I did a lot of thinking, and I played hockey my entire life. Prior to that, like hockey was my life pretty much. Like I went to school so I could go to my hockey game. Like I hated school always my whole life. Was always an outside person, so that's probably why the landscape thing fit. But so in the time I'm laid up, I was thinking a lot about like, man, like I'm done playing hockey, like this kind of sucks. And I thought about my job, but at that time it was more like I just had a traumatic life event. So kind of laying there during those months, watching a lot of TV, being on the internet, like just trying to stay busy, do what I can do, and just really doing a lot of thinking. And I was thinking to myself, like, I don't know if I want to be done playing hockey.
Right. So
decided during that time that I was going to go to college and walk on and play college hockey. So that's what I did. And while I was getting enrolled, I'm like, okay, I made this decision, but wait, I still need some money. So I'm like, I need to do something here. So I'm like, well, what if I try to do a few little landscaping jobs, by myself and just like make enough? I don't need a lot. Like I just need enough for gas and like a hockey stick here and there and some food, like I don't need a bunch.
Which back in the day, those Coho sticks were like $200.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, it's ridiculous.
You need some money,
But, yeah. So, and my mom, she always took care of me, but she's not like gonna, just let me be a bum and pay for all my stuff. I've had a job since I was 15.
Yeah. It's not like today's world where
people
are like 30 living at home.
Yeah.
But that's a whole nother story.
No.
We want to thank one of our presenting sponsors of the Shop Tour series. You know them, you love them, Yard Book. Whether you're just getting into business for yourself or you've been growing your company and need to get more organized, Yard Book is for you. A full-service CRM software to help you manage and track jobs, tasks, routes, and your billing all in one convenient web-based platform. And the best part? It's totally free. Take advantage of the CRM Brian uses to grow his business and take your company to new heights. Utilize their popular features like credit card on file charging, email estimate approval, and the new selling suite, fertilizer tracking, and so much more. Tens of thousands of law entrepreneurs just like you trust and rely on Yardbook to help them grow their company. So why not you? Sign up today at yardbook.com and don't forget to mention that Brian sent you. Just 3 words tell you everything you need to know. They tell you why we employ more than 2,000 workers at our factory in Virginia Beach, and why over 10,000 local steel dealers are putting battery power in the hands of Americans. Just 3 words. Made in America. Real steel. Find yours at steelusa.com. The majority of steel products sold in America are made in America of U.S. and foreign materials. Batteries and chargers are sourced internationally.
I guess technically I live at home. I moved back in. My mom doesn't live there anymore, but I moved back into the house I grew up in.
You kicked your mom out of her house?
No,
I'm just kidding.
No.
That's awesome.
But just weird the way things work. But I'm actually back in that house now. But that's a story for another day. But
really quick, just for clarity. So did you go to college for design build or
no.
just for hockey kind of?
Yeah. So that was kind of like what I was thinking, like in that process. I'm like, it'd be cool to do something for landscaping, but the school that I went to didn't have anything.
Oh, okay.
So I went for my major was very broad, general. It was business administration.
Okay.
So that was kind of my goal. I'm like, well, why don't I try to do a few landscaping jobs and like just see what happens and see if I continue to enjoy it while I play hockey. And because that was my main goal. I wanted to play hockey, and literally that's the only reason I went to college. I didn't go to college because I wanted a degree. I went to college because I wanted to play hockey.
Did you get like a scholarship, or were you paying to play? Or
no, paid to play.
Okay.
Yep, but it was one of those things I was like, I don't care. I just want to keep playing it. And I had a broken leg, so it's not like I can go try out somewhere. It's like I went to a local school here where the coach knew me. He's like, yep, seen you play. I played against his son for a long time. He's like, yep, you're on the team.
Oh, cool.
If you want to play, you're coming.
That's awesome.
And my first time ever actually skating, everyone's like, oh no, you, like my doctors and my coach were like, no, you can't skate. I'm like, no, I got this. And I went out on the ice and I'm like limping around the ice. And like all the guys that I didn't know that were on the team, they're like, who the f is this guy? Like, this guy can't even walk, let alone, like what is he doing here?
Sure.
So kind of made a fool of myself, which I proved myself later on, but that's kind of how it all started. So
and we're ice hockey, just so we're clear, not roller hockey.
Yes, correct. And
I play roller hockey.
SIU Edwardsville, for those people in Illinois that know that school. It's actually a really big school now, but
cool.
That's where I went. So playing hockey, really just practicing at that time, trying to get my leg back, and going to school, taking some classes. First year classes, it's like glorified high school. Wasn't really too difficult. So getting my generals and just really having fun, meeting some new guys, playing hockey.
Yeah.
And then I did. So I got some lawn signs. That was my first way to get out and, let people know what I'm doing. So, and I actually right away started posting on Facebook.
Yeah.
And this was, for some context, let me think what year this was, probably 2012,
13,
11, 12,
okay.
I think is about when it was. And so I say I've been in business for 10 years, but like the first 2 years I really didn't I did like 3 jobs.
Okay.
Like I didn't do much.
That's okay.
So, but I was trying.
Yeah.
Like I knew, I told myself like, this is going to take a long time. Like this is not an overnight thing. Like I knew it was a process, and like I'm posting on Facebook and like taking pictures of my jobs. My friends are like, what are you doing? Like you really think you're going to start a business?
Yeah.
Like,
You're
19 years old. Like this isn't going to work. I'm
and
like,
hardscaping too.
Leave me alone.
Yeah.
Like I'll be fine.
Right.
So like I'm just doing little mulch jobs, and then so during like that first year, I realized I really realized man, this is going to be tough. I'm like, I got to branch out. Like I can't be just trying to do landscaping. This is not going to work out. So I'm like, lawn care. That's the way to meet these people in the genre of where I want to be, what I want to be doing.
Yep.
So I did that, and bam, snap of a finger. I was, you put out a lawn sign and people are always trying to find a cheaper price and whatever, people are shopping.
Yep.
So right away I picked up a bunch of customers. I'm like, okay, this is going to work.
Yeah.
So, and still at that time, I'm like, this is going to be temporary. I'm going to use this. I'm going to build my reputation, and we'll see where it goes.
Okay.
So, college, still going to college, still playing hockey, still doing that thing. And that was my main deal. But then I was on the side, I was mowing lawns and doing what landscaping jobs I could land.
Sure.
And I did that for 3 years. And by the third year, it was, okay, I got to make a decision. Either I'm going to quit taking on customers and, slow my business down, or I'm going to finish school.
Okay.
And I started thinking, this was like a 6-month process where I'm weighing my options here. I'm trying to figure out what's going to work.
Sure.
Is this real, and just trying to figure out what was best for me in my life. And at that time, the classes were starting to get harder. It was starting to get, like I said, my major was business administration. So we're starting to get into like corporate numbers and, like a rat on a wheel, like stuff that I'm like, this is not me at all. I'm like, I hated it. I started skipping school and then things started getting harder because I'm missing school, but I just did not like it at all. I just could not have any passion in it. So I had a conversation with my mom, and I was still living with her at the time. And I told her, I don't want to go to school anymore. I was like, I want to do this lawn care business full thing. And I think that year my gross income was like 68,000 or something.
Sure.
Like I didn't net a ton,
right?
But I was bringing in money, like enough to where it was like, oh, my mom was like, oh, you're actually like, you have a business, like this isn't just some little
hobby.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, like, if you're 24 living at home and you're netting half of that, because you probably didn't have a ton of expenses.
Right. I had zero overhead. I bought a couple cheap lawnmowers and I had a trailer that I paid next to nothing for. And I was, running and gunning, like doing the thing. And I was having a blast. I loved it. I loved meeting with customers. I loved proving myself. I loved making lawns look beautiful and doing mulch jobs and trimming shrubs. I just loved it, kind of continuing on with what I had at my hardscape job.
Sure.
And that, at that time I had not done any of the type of jobs like I was doing at my hardscape job, but I still knew in the back of my head, that's where I want to be.
Okay.
So I ended up dropping out. I got no degree. Paid for 3 years, went for 3 years, and I got nothing to show for it. I don't even have an associate's.
I mean, did you get like a hockey trophy or something at least? Like you guys win states or something? I don't know.
We won a couple championships.
Okay, there you go.
We kicked some major butt.
You're like, there's my $40,000 trophy.
Yeah, and I made some lifelong friends on that.
That's good.
During those times, still play with them every week to this day. So,
a question, because I know your story a little bit. We've actually been friends for 5 years at least, maybe.
Yeah, from like right when I got into YouTube.
Yeah,
I mean, you were one of the first people I ever connected with.
Well, I think like your channel had like some videos that popped right out of the beginning, like this leaf setup with your old red trailer.
Yep.
And it got like 25,000 views back when like rocks were soft, and there was no lawn care YouTube, right?
Right.
And I was getting like 250 views a video, and I'm like, holy Jesus, this guy's awesome. Who is this dude? So I'm like, hey man, you want to be friends? Like, and you're like, what up, no? And we were talking all the time back in the day about cleanups because I was trying to buy a new mower, and so like our friendship goes back like 4 or 5 years. It's wild. Like people come, people go, but like you and I have been buds for a long time. But I say all that to say, like, was your younger brother, Nick, right?
Yeah.
Was he working for you or no?
No.
Okay.
So, I mean, he would help me a little bit here and there, but he's 3 years younger than me. So he was still in high school.
Okay.
During all this time. And I was actually coaching his high school hockey team.
Oh, no shoot.
While starting my business, while playing college hockey. I was juggling all this stuff, but him and I have always been really close. But he kind of, did a lot of the same things I did.
Okay.
And, he was still in high school. He would help me here and there, but he definitely wasn't like an employee.
Okay.
He's like, help me. Like, I'm like, hey man, like I need help today.
Can you help? We're behind like most of the lines with me.
Yeah, exactly. Or I could get rained or something. And he was into it. Like, he's like, can I help? You know, kind of thing.
That's cool.
But he was also a really good welder. He took a lot of shop classes in high school and he was a really good welder. So he was actually taking college welding courses while he was still in high school.
Oh, wow.
And then when he got out of high school, he pursued that a little bit and took some classes and did really good for himself actually. But I wasn't big enough yet at that time. He was still helping me on the sides, but it was like he knew he needed to get a real job to, if he was going to do his thing. So college wasn't for him either. Like I said, he did take some classes, but he never went and got a degree or, did any of that. So he actually worked at Mowing on airplanes here in St. Louis.
Okay.
So he was building airplanes, working sheet metal, running rivets, doing all that fun stuff. And he did that for a few years. And he was kind of, like I said, kind of a rat on the wheel there too, kind of just doing the same thing every single day in the same spot, had no freedom, had no say, just like put these rivets in these holes, don't do anything else. I don't want to hear you talk, kind of deal.
That's not what
Not that it's a bad company. They're a great company, but
That's not what a 22-year-old wants to do.
When you're ambitious, that's a hard job to do.
Exactly. And especially when you're probably with around career union 50-year-old dudes that are just belly aching 7 to 3 every day.
Exactly. And we were still living together. So every night I'd come home, I'd tell him about my lawn care day, and he'd tell me about his day. And he's like, man, my job sucks. He was making more money than me.
Sure.
At that time, for the first 3 years of my business, 3 to 4 years, I paid myself $10 an hour.
Right.
I wrote down my hours. I paid myself $10 an hour. Every other dime got tossed back into the business.
That's awesome.
And I did that because I needed money.
Right.
But I did that to prove to myself I was like, I can live off $10 an hour. That's cool. I want more equipment.
Yeah.
So
reinvesting.
That was my way of doing it, but putting in my time, so to say. So I literally wrote down all my hours and I paid myself $10 an hour on the dime for 3 to 4 years.
And reinvested everything.
And that's at that point I was getting brand new mowers, brand new trailers, nicer trucks. And then after my brother worked at Mowing for a few years, he's like, hey, you need some help? He's like, and we started talking, and then he started helping me every night, every Saturday.
Okay.
And then it was like, he was getting worn out. He's getting stretched too thin because he's got too much going on. He's like, okay, this is how much I make. How much can you pay me? I'm like, I can't pay you that much. But in 2 or 3 years, I'll pay you at least that much. Come on.
Let's grow this thing together. Yeah.
So he came in, and ever since then, he's been with me.
Wow.
He's been my right-hand man for 6 years now.
Okay. Because I know Nick from a couple expos and stuff. We got to hang out, and he's a cool dude. Another great bud. And but you guys are like the Nickens brothers. You guys are like always
we're
rocking.
like twins. He's 3 years younger than me, but literally our whole lives we've done everything together.
Right.
We've always not necessarily together because we're not the
Age
same
group.
age to be on the sports teams, but I played hockey, he played hockey. It's always done the same style and followed the same path.
I can totally relate because my younger brother's 2 years younger, and we were one league apart from soccer or hockey every time because of the age group. But we're best buds, and if I'm like, hey, I need you to grab the legs, I'll grab the arms. He'd be like, I'll be there in a minute, like that whole deal. He's it's really cool. And if you have a good brother, a good family member like that, it's important to keep those relationships because people come, people go, but you don't want family to go.
It is, it's good, but it's also can be very hard at times too.
This is true.
It can be especially for us, in the past couple of years when things are getting real and we're talking real money and careers, we're at the age now, like I said, I'm 30, he's 27, 28.
Yeah.
So it's and we're trying to have family. I just had a kid, he's getting ready to get married. So it's we've had heated
real
conversations and we've had arguments and things, but at the end of the day, I don't want anybody else, being my right-hand man than him.
Right.
I know I can trust him, and I know if he lets me down, he knows that I'm gonna hold him up to what he said he was going to do, and there's going to be consequences kind of thing.
You got the boss standard and the family standard.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Exactly. It's we work together literally 12, 14 hours a day, and it's all right, I'll see you at dinners at mom's tonight. It's it's mom's birthday.
Yeah. So hey, you're doing it better than I am. I had to fire my younger brother, but he says he quit, but that's a whole. Go listen to episode 200, I think it was, guys, or 250. I had my younger brother on as a special, and all we did was argue for an hour. It was it was just family brotherly. I'm like, he's like, what do you want to talk about? I'm like, I'm just going to chew you up, dude. So I hit record and we just went at each other like brothers for an hour. And then at the end, we're like, that was fun, But but he's got it going on. I respect him, and he's my brother. I love him, and he's a great dude. But I had to just air it out, because he said he quit. I said I fired him. One of those deals.
Mutual.
Yeah. So he's like, dude, I quit. I'm like, dude, you didn't quit. I fired you. He's like, that's not true. I'm like, that's exact. He quit because if you guys go back and listen to the episode, it's really funny. But we're soccer fans, right? So FIFA Cup comes around. And it was my second year in business. So he's trimming, I'm mowing in the trailer park. And then one day at 2:00, he has to go inside. And he's like, I'm done with the day. I'm like, well, what are you talking about? We still got 10 lawns to cut or whatever. He's like, no, I'm done. I'm like, you can't be done. We got to mow. What are you talking about? He's like, dude, FIFA Cup's on. In Europe, it's 8 p.m. Over here, it's 2 p.m. Right. He's like, FIFA Cup's on, dude. It's Madrid versus whoever or whatever. And I'm like, what are you talking about, bro? We have work to do. He's like, correction, you have work to do. I'm out of here. And I'm like, you can't, and the whole deal. And go listen to the story. It's really funny on the episode, but family, so
it's great.
12 years later, we still bickle or fight and complain back and forth who did what. Any which way, so it's cool to see you and your brother working well together.
Yeah. He made the commitment to be done at Mowing, and he's been with me ever since. And like I said, we've had ups and we've had downs, but Yeah, he's great to be here, but he never really wanted to mow.
Okay.
He's more like a methodical type person. Like he wants to think about it and then he wants to build it.
Okay.
Like he doesn't want to like do repetitive tasks, which is why he quit Boeing. Like,
sure.
He's more of a, like I said, methodical,
creative
engineer type brain where he wants to like come up with it and then do it. Yeah. You know what I mean? And like do something different every time. So he really was a big push for me to quit lawn care, but I was I was way too delayed to get out of lawn care because it was like guaranteed money every week. Like you're going to make this money. And at this time we're mowing probably whenever he started, which was 6 years ago, we're mowing like 4 days a week. Okay. Doing landscaping 1, 2, 3 days a week. Like we were working like
all the time.
Dogs, like, literally like way too much, 16-hour days, we're like 7 days a week.
We were talking about that before we hit record. Like, cause I'm like, dude, I've done nothing but work for 13 years, you know, and you're like, dude, me too. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, I'm having a kid and now I like want to have a bunch of kids and it like life changes. Yeah. Right? Priorities change.
I had my head down for like 7 years and people were like, like my friends and like even family members were like, dude, what are you doing? Like you can't mow lawns for your whole life. Like, I'm like,
I'm building something.
Okay. For one, you have no idea what you're talking about. Cause I'm probably making more money than you.
Sure.
And for two, yes, you can. Like, it's just shut up. But I'm like, I never really got heated with anybody. Like I probably had like 30 people say this to me. Like, what are you going to do with your life, man? I'm like, just wait.
Give me a few years.
Just wait. I got a plan. And like, I had this plan from day one. I knew exactly what I wanted to do and where I wanted to be. So, and my brother, like, we talked about this. This is on paper, like 7 years ago. I got this stuff written down, like where we're going to go and how we're going to do it. But it was hard
wild
for me.
It's like wild, bro.
It is.
Like, it's kind of surreal.
Yeah. Like I'm where I wanted to be.
You're in your office with what's the shop? 80 by 100 something?
Yeah. 100 by 50 total.
Wow.
Yeah.
And this thing's a couple bucks. You tell me numbers and I'm just like, I'm blown away.
Yeah.
I'm genuinely impressed. Like you guys listening into the show, like I'm your guys' biggest cheerleader. Like you guys support me and encourage me all the time, but dude, like I'm trying to do the same thing with you guys. It's so cool to see what so many of y'all are doing. We have the podcast, but it doesn't mean like I'm the top down, I'm the guru. Literally nothing but. I'm just another lawn bro. But it's so cool to get around all those people like you and Mulder and a bunch of you guys listening into the show that you have it going on. And I'm like, dude, I'm impressed. Like, holy cow. Like, what did you do? Like, teach me, you know? And so I'm walking around. I'm like, Alex, this is insane. You're like, it is? I'm like, dude, you have no idea. This is so impressive. You're like, thanks, bro. I feel like we're just getting started. But I'm just genuinely like excited for you.
Yep.
It's really cool. Yep. Well, let's do this really quick because we get about another 2 minutes. We'll button it up. But talk to me a little bit about the shop. Because this is with, if people are listening in, if you guys haven't went to watch the YouTube video later today or tonight or whatever, next couple of days, check it out on YouTube and then go to subscribe to Alex Nickens on YouTube. Seriously, we've been buds for a long time. I've watched all of your videos when they come out. I'm always watching them. While I drive down the road in the truck. No, I didn't say that out loud. Put it on the dash and I'm watching people, just like you guys do, right? But tell them a little bit about the shop and where you're at today, because this is like the manifestation of the dream.
Yeah.
And it's really cool to see. I mean, at 30 years old, I know very few people back at home that have going on what you guys do, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So this was kind of a big step. Like I knew, getting out of lawn care, getting into landscaping, it takes bigger trucks, bigger trailers, skid steers, excavators. And, for the first 5 years, I'm running out of a 2-car garage at my mom's house.
Right.
It was like, I need a bigger place. Like I need to make a real commitment. Yeah. So I was like, this place went up for sale and I'm like, I got to buy it. Wow. Like I went to the bank and they're like, I don't know. So I like, okay, like what do I do next? Like, do I go to another bank or like, what do I do? So I knew the owner of the building, which is probably like where the stars aligned on this whole thing and why I'm here today.
Okay.
Because I told him what I wanted to do and he's like, we'll make it work.
Wow.
He's like, you keep talking to the bank and like, just keeping me in touch.
Sure.
And we'll figure it out. So for the first couple of years, I leased it from him, which was basically just to knock the purchase price down until the bank would say yes.
Oh, wow.
So we just kept going and going and going and going and going. And finally the bank said yes. And bam, we jumped on it.
No way.
Yep.
So kind of like in-house financing almost.
Basically.
So you paid like
backdoor financing. Like we had like a 2-page contract.
Hey, a little horse trading is okay.
Signed by me, signed by him, signed by a lawyer. And it's like, we got this.
No shoot.
Yep.
Wow.
And, yep. So
where there's a will, there's a way, man.
Yeah. But it was like at this time, like I'm buying this building that's almost $500,000 and everyone's looking at me like, what are you doing, dude? Like you're a little lawn care company. Like you can't do this. But I'm like, I like in the same thing in the back of my head. I'm like, just shut up. Like I got this. Like
Wow.
just watch me basically.
Seriously.
And now here we are, and I got ambitions. I'm going to pay this place off either this year or next year.
Wow.
That's my goal. And it's
that's in like 4 years, maybe 3 years, 4 years.
Yeah, 4. It'll be 4 or 5 before it's all said and done.
Wow.
But yeah, it's going to be, just like everything else. And like, I'm a big, pay cash kind of guy. Everyone's like, oh, you shouldn't do that, blah, blah, blah. Which there's both.
There's pros and cons.
And I've taken out loans. It's not that I've never taken out a loan, but I just don't like owing people money. I
Sure.
just hate it. Even if it's a mortgage, I don't want to owe anybody money.
Yeah.
Like I want my money to be in my pocket,
Sure.
kind of thing, or in my bank account. So
it's funny. We've had Mulder on. He's all cash now. Connects all cash now. You're all cash everything, and I'm impressed. I love being able to point to you guys too because you're great examples. Like financial, business, like you're just a family. Even you guys are great examples out there I can point to.
Yep, and it's it's one of those things where it's like this whole time, there's all these 10 years, I've always done what I thought was right.
Yeah,
I've never listened to the noise. I've never done what other people tell me I should do. I've always stuck with my gut, and I've always done what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And 10 years later, like I said, I worked like a dog for basically 10 years. I'm just now slowing down 6 weeks ago when I had my son. Like,
crazy.
That was the cutoff for me. But it's like, I've just had a game plan.
Yeah.
I've always done what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I knew I wanted to be in landscaping, and I did lawn care to get here, and now I'm here. And it's just all coming together, and it's fun.
That's awesome, man. I think didn't you get married like 2 years ago, 3 years ago?
Yeah.
And wasn't that like your first vacation in like a decade, you said, or something?
Oh yeah. It was like the first weekend I had off in like 8 years.
I remember talking to you. I think I called you or something when you got engaged or something, maybe. And I was talking to you about something, I know. And I said, dude, that's awesome. I'm like, when you guys get married? And you're like, I don't know. It's, 6 months from now, a year from now. And then like, what are you guys do for honeymoon? And you're like, I don't know. But you're like, I think it'll be the first time I take like 4 or 5 days off.
Well,
and
we still haven't went on a honeymoon.
You haven't done the honeymoon yet? No.
No.
We're going to get a Nickens GoFundMe for the honeymoon,
Yeah. We were going to do it. There was a couple of times we were going to do it. The first time, COVID.
Okay, yeah.
Then my wife got pregnant.
Yeah.
Then we purchased property.
Yeah.
And then we started building our house. So there was like multiple times where we're going to do it. And then like either a life thing happened, or it was like, we're going to put our money elsewhere. Like I'm not going to spend this money, which I still need to do it. I need to take my wife on a honeymoon. But still I've been married for going on 3 years. And
good Lord. Well, here's the only advice I'll give it. Make sure you make that a priority eventually, right?
Yeah,
like get around to it, because the ladies, have like they grew up wanting the Cinderella life.
Oh yeah.
They want the honeymoon. You already had the wedding. That's the way more important part for them anyway. But the honeymoon's still to come. But
yeah, she wants to go to Greece. So when we do go, it's going to be a big one.
Santorini,
we're gonna do like I don't know.
Wherever.
I don't know. Brian, don't put me on the spot. I know Greece.
Ask Caleb Allman where Denmark is. That's a whole nother story. But actually, like for real though, Liz and I want to go to Greece too. I think it's like the blue domes are, and like all the white sandstone, buildings with the blue domes. Wherever that is, I want to go there. And Liz is like, hey, our 10 years coming up in like another 2 years. I'm like, so like I don't know. We'll double honeymoon. You guys can celebrate 2, 3 years or 5 years, and we'll celebrate 10. We'll go. We'll get a discount. We'll group on.
As long as she goes to Greece, I don't think she's going to care.
She won't care. No. There you go. We'll button it up right here, man. We super appreciate you taking time to be on the show. We're actually doing this in the later evening. I've been on tour, going across the country, doing a couple shop tours. So if you guys want to follow along with Alex Nickens, where can they find you? You
can find me on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook at Nickens Lawn and Landscape.
There you go. And I think on Instagram it's Nickens.landscape.
It's Nickens.landscape. It's just a dot between every word, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, Nickens Lawn and Landscape.
Awesome. You guys definitely got to give Alex a follow, give him a shout. If you guys enjoy the podcast and the episode, feel free to, take a screenshot, share it, tag us both. I know we'd love to see some feedback and what you guys think. And then also for real, check out the shop tour, the YouTube video. We did probably a half-hour tour. You got gas tanks, you got a salt bin, you've got 3 or 4 machines in here. Huge shop, beautiful setup, off a main road. Tons of landscape jobs come in. You were saying from just phone calls off the road, from people driving by every day. So really proud of you, man. You got it going on.
Thanks, Brian. Thanks for having me. Thanks, Liz, for letting Brian go across the country. Thanks to Jill for letting me be gone here this late in the evening. I know she's probably worn out at home taking care of the little guy. So. She's
tapping her fingers wondering when you're getting back.
Time for me to get going. But
there you go.
Thanks, Brian. Thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure. It's always fun to talk to you.
You bet, brother. Well, guys, we'll kick it back over to Marty, Mr. Producer. We're going to hear a little bit more from the show sponsors and announcements that made the tour happen, and we appreciate them sponsoring the tour as well for us to come on out here. But this is what we got going on for today with Alex Nickens with Nickens Lawn and Landscape. So guys, thanks for listening, and we look forward to catching up with you guys here on the next one.
You know the name Equipment Defender. Now experience the safety and security for your lawn care setup with Equipment Defender trailer racks. These lockable trailer racks are designed to keep your equipment organized and secure without breaking the bank. Upgrade your setup and protect your investment with trailer racks that fit any style of trailer, both utility or enclosed. These E-coated racks are built tough to withstand the elements, all while working hard to keep your equipment safe and secure. Put an end to unnecessary equipment damage and theft today by investing in quality trailer racks that you can rely on. Use the promo code BRYANS10 to save 10% on all orders today at equipmentdefender.com, and a link is provided in the show description. Equipment Defender.
Hey guys, Brian here. I get asked all the time, what's the best work shoe or boots for our industry? As some of you probably know, I absolutely love wearing the Cujo Yardwear. A few years ago, I was wondering why there isn't some sort of light, functional shoe for the lawn care industry. Literally a couple weeks later, I get a message from this new company, Cujo Yardwear, letting me know about the new shoe they created for lawn care. I couldn't believe it, so I tested them out for the first year and have been wearing them ever since. Me and my guys love the Cujos because they are light, comfortable, they keep our feet dry and have a great grip, and they're breathable. Plus, they're a family-owned company. Sean and Kelsey are a brother-sister team that seriously care about offering the best products for our industry. They started with the yard shoes, came out with the X1 composite toe boots, and are launching a new slip-on shoe this year. Check them out at Cujo.com. That's Kujo.com. And don't forget to use Brian's10 to save 10%.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast with Brian Fullerton. We hope you enjoyed this production. If so, please consider leaving us a 5-star review for the show. While the techniques and ideas presented here are designed to help you grow a more successful and profitable business, no one can guarantee these results for you. We want to emphasize that entrepreneurship is not easy, and the ideas presented here are just the opinions of Brian Fullerton and his respective guests. No one can guarantee success for you. That being said, we hope the ideas presented here help you and motivate you to go on out there and crush it with your own business.
Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.
This has been a Brian Fullerton and Mr. Producer production.